Let's talk about D-Wave Quantum, ticker QBTS. I mean, what an absolutely incredible run it's been on. But what's really going on under the hood? In this explainer, we're going to dig into the technical data piece by piece to see if this rally has got real legs.
Okay, first up, just get a load of this number. In just 3 months, QBTS has absolutely skyrocketed up 77%. It went from under 17 bucks to nearly 30. You know, when you see a surge like this, you've got to ask a really important question.
Is this the real deal? Sustainable strength? Or is this whole thing just a house of cards waiting to get knocked over? So we're going to act like detectives here and follow the evidence from the source analysis step by step to see what the data is really telling us.
All right, our first stop on this investigation, let's follow the money. See, price tells you what happened, but volume, that's the number of shares being traded. Volume tells us how much conviction, how much actual belief is backing this rally.
I mean, the sheer scale here is just staggering. On July 17th, as the stock was really taking off, over 100 million shares changed hands. Now, that's not some quiet little drift higher. No way. That is a loud, clear statement from the market.
And you might think, okay, maybe that was just a one-off. But nope. Fast forward to September 17th, and bam! An even bigger day. We're talking nearly 127 million shares traded. These are huge, explosive spikes in activity, and they're happening right as the price is pushing higher.
So what does all this mean when you add it up over time? Well, there's an indicator for that called on-balance volume. It's basically a running tally of buying versus selling pressure. And right now, it's sitting at a massive 1.95 billion. What that tells us, plain and simple, is that the buyers have been showing up day after day, and they've been way more aggressive than the sellers.
Now this table gives us another really cool piece of the puzzle. The volume-weighted average price, or VWAP, is just the average price that people paid for their shares, and it's way down there at $11.74. With the current price up near $30, that means the average person who bought in is sitting on some serious profits. And think about it, when you're up that much, you're probably not going to panic sell at the first little dip, right? Okay, so we've established that there's some real money, real conviction behind this move. But how fast is this thing really moving? Now we get to look at the speed and the acceleration of this rally. The best way to think about a stock's moving averages is like a car's different speedometers. You've got one for your short-term speed, one for your midterm, and one for your long-term speed. And for QBTS, well, the picture is just perfect acceleration. The short-term speeds are all faster than the midterm ones, which are blowing past the long-term ones. And the current price? It's way out in the lead, leaving all of them in the dust. That right there is the textbook definition of a powerful, accelerating uptrend. And it's not just the moving averages that are telling this story. Oh no. You look at other key momentum indicators, take the MACD for example. It's high, it's positive, that's a huge thumbs up. Then you've got the ADX, which basically measures how strong the trend is. Is it weak or is it powerful? And it's screaming powerful with a reading well over 38. Okay, so far everything is coming up roses, right? It sounds incredibly bullish, but a good analysis always plays devil's advocate. We have to look at the other side of the coin. We got to ask, is this stock moving too far, too fast? Let's go look for some warning signs. And the main tool we use for this is the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. The absolute best way to think about it is like the rev counter, the tachometer, in your car. You know, the one that tells you how fast the engine is revving? If that needle pushes into the red zone, you know the engine is running super hot, and it just can't stay there forever. And guess where QBTS is right now? The RSI is reading 73.33. Now that red zone we just talked about, it usually starts right at 70. So yeah, the engine is officially running hot. Now that doesn't mean the rally is going to slam on the brakes tomorrow, but it is a flashing red light. It's telling us the stock is in what analysts call overbought territory. And it's not just the RSI screaming this either. You've got other oscillators, like stochastics and Williams %R. They're all flashing the same warning sign. And get this, the stock is now trading a full 30% above its own statistical trend line. It is completely blasted past its normal path. Okay, so let's take a breath here. We've got two completely different stories, don't we? On one hand, you have this incredibly strong buying pressure and just awesome momentum. But on the other hand, you have all these warning lights saying the stock is way overextended. So, how do we put all this together and come up with a final verdict? Well, all this evidence really points to two possible paths forward. The bull scenario is simple.
The momentum is just too powerful, and it's going to keep plowing ahead, breaking past resistance, and aiming for that $32 to $35 range. The bear scenario? It's that these overbought warnings are going to convince people to lock in their profits, causing a totally normal, healthy pullback to support somewhere around $25 to $27. So, this gives us a roadmap of the key price levels that analysts are glued to right now. Think of these as the battle lines. If it can break above that big, round number of $30, that could be the signal for the next leg up. But if it slips below $27, that could mean a deeper correction is coming. These are the numbers to watch. So when all is said and done, what's the final verdict from the analysis? Well, after weighing all the evidence, the good, the bad, all of it, the conclusion is that the sheer strength of this trend, it just outweighs the risks for now. The most likely path, at least in the short term, is for it to keep pushing higher.
And really, this brings us to the core tension at the heart of this stock right now. The trend is undeniably powerful, right? But history teaches us one thing for sure. No stock goes up in a straight line forever. The data is pointing up, but it's also telling us to be careful. So really, the big question for QBTS is no longer if a pullback will come, but when.